Hi, everyone. Welcome to What in the World is Happening, a show about Maitreya, the world teacher, and the Masters of Wisdom. We broadcast live every second and fourth Saturday on Facebook Live, Zoom, Twitch, YouTube. And at the end of every episode, we do a wonderful, simple meditation called Transmission Meditation, which you can participate in with us. In fact, this week, we wanted to dedicate this entire episode to Transmission Meditation. We're going to talk about what it is, how it started, who you can connect with, and how to do it. So hopefully you can stick with us. We're delighted to have you with us and to talk about that. If you have any questions or comments, please send them through. We have John and Silito doing tech support. We'll try and address all the questions as we go through the show. And my name is Tim Boutskis. I'm broadcasting live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And with me is Sabina Qureshi, also from Edmonton, Canada. Hi, Sabina.
Hi, Tim, and hi, everybody. And I just wanted to repeat the fact that we've changed our frequency of broadcast from once a week to every second and fourth Saturday. So 2 times a month instead of weekly.
Yeah. So we can start. I guess we should say, if you're new to transmission meditation or I've never heard of it, it's non-denominational. You don't have to believe in anything to do it. It's open to everybody over the age of 12, simply because under 12, your energy system, your chakra system isn't developed enough yet to handle the energies of transmission meditation. And also if you have a pacemaker or psychological problems, it's not recommended. Otherwise, it's great. It's a wonderful form of service. It's complementary to any other practices you might have. And it's always free of charge. There's never a charge or a catch or anything like that. So with that being said, we'll go into maybe a little bit of the history, where it started. How about that?
And just to mention that transmission meditation is actually a form of service. That is to say that when you're doing it, you are serving, you're being of service, you're helping the world. And that's why we called it a meditation to help the world. So that's an important part of it, and that's something that if you know that, it also can play into your desire to help, to be part of a solution to the problems of the world.
And it's very easy to engage in for modern day living, busy modern life. You can, if you devote an hour or something a week, just a regular rhythm, it's a way to serve the world and meditate and to enjoy the energies that flow from that. So it's designed for modern day living, isn't it? And for the age ahead.
That's right. It's kind of like hit the ground running.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, a year of regular transmission meditation can be as powerful as 10, 15, or 20 years of some of the personal meditations and meditations we know of already. So
yeah, and when you say that, Tim, in terms of powerful, you're talking about the effect on the meditator, right?
That's right. As far as your own growth and awareness, and the fortification of it, the nurturing of the energies, and help in the world, very effective that way.
Yeah.
So it was introduced in 1974 through Mr. Benjamin Krem. We just put his slide up here. He toured around the world for over 40 years, talking about Maitreya, who we'll talk about in a little bit, and the Masters of Wisdom, the world teacher and the Masters of Wisdom. Completely voluntarily, he spread hope around the world, talked about how the Masters and Maitreya are in the world now in this great time of transition for humanity in its evolutionary journey. He did the public lectures, wrote 17 books, and he also introduced transmission meditation. So all of this he did throughout his life, which has been very helpful to the world. And we have a little video clip of him talking about how it was introduced to him. He had
sorry, Tim, just before you jump into the video, I just wanted to say that he did all this free of charge, so actually as a form of service, and that he was contacted telepathically by a Master of Wisdom. And we'll talk more about the Masters just in a shake, and about Maitreya as well, who's one of the Masters of Wisdom. And so the information that he was able to pass on and the substance of his lectures, a lot of it was simply what this master was able to transmit to him. So it's something quite unusual to have a person who's in contact with one of the masters of wisdom and that person is able to give information and describe things in a way from a perspective that you won't hear a lot of the time.
That's right. It's a very wonderful thing to have in the world. The masters have always worked behind the scenes and been able to interact with certain individuals throughout our history, and we'll talk about that too as well, with inspiration and to have a telepathic communication, like you said, is a wonderful thing. Yeah. So let's I'll just get out of this and we'll do our little video of how it started.
Yeah, Benjamin Creme talking.
Of transmission, meditation for the new age. Let's go back just a moment in unfolding the history of this. When did transmission meditation start?
Well, transmission meditation is given to the world through my master, with whom I've been in touch for very many years, since 1959. Mm-hmm. And in 1974, he asked me to form a group in London, where I live. And he introduced there to that group the idea of transmission meditation. Mm-hmm. I was asked to give a little talk about meditation and to give them the feel of a transmission meditation, which is a specific type of meditation. You do a meditation, you use a certain chakra, the ajna chakra between the eyebrows, to focus on, and as necessary you use the mantra Om, to bring the attention back to that chakra when it wanders off, as of course inevitably it does. Mm-hmm. You don't meditate on Om, you simply use it to bring it back. And the master gave about 15 minutes transmission to the group involved and said, well, that's what it's like. Those who wish to continue can continue from now on. A group was formed in March 1974 in London and has been going ever since. We meet 3 times a week and have done all these years. And now there are hundreds of transmissions groups all over the world doing this work. It is a means of serving the planet in a very simple way. It's for lazy people, you know, who don't like to do too hard work in their service, because you're just sitting there, the masters do all the work, they send the energy through you, and they direct the energy to wherever it is needed in the world. So all you have to do is to be there, to decide to be a group. 3 people make a group, and you carry on from there. The group uses the Great Invocation, which was given by the Christ to the world in June 1945, as a means of linking with hierarchy. It sets up a conduit, and through that conduit, the energies are sent. And that's all the group does.
Meditation, I know from what you've said and what I've read elsewhere, has been around for centuries. Was there any precursor to transmission meditation or did it just spring into existence as part of this group work?
No, it is because people are now really consciously working in a group formation that transmission meditation becomes possible, because it is a group meditation. But it develops out of the triangles movement, which was already given to the world by the Tibetan master Jalkul through Alice A. Bailey. The Alice A. Bailey books are known throughout the world, and he introduced triangles, as it's called, which is a mental linking up with 2 other individuals anywhere in the world, in which these 3 individuals elect to say aloud the Great Invocation, which was given in 1945, and in such a way that the energies are then sent through that triangle formed to 3 friends in the world. And then they link that triangle up with all the triangles thus active in the world. And that's a mental exercise. Transmission meditation takes that principle, but makes it enormously more potent, because the groups are working on a larger scale. I mean, sometimes I have 500 people in a transmission group, as happened in Japan. That's unusual. But most groups are around 10, 12, 15, 20 people.
That is such a good description of how you do transmission meditation. It really is that simple. And if you're interested in reading more about it,
talk more about a few specifics that you just laid out, because I'm sure a number of people watching may need
I
to
think
know
the video is still on, Tim.
Chakras,
yeah,
and in the Ajna Center in particular. Just give us.
Pardon me.
No worries. we're volunteers. We're not professionals. Right? But so that was a very good description of how you do it. It really is that simple. You could see the photos of people sitting in chairs. Some people sit on the floor, but generally for Westerners, at least, sitting on a chair is much more comfortable. And that's what we're accustomed to doing. And there are available for free download 4 books by Benjamin Creme. One of them is about transmission. And so if you have more questions, of course, ask us now today, but also in that book, you have a ton of information about transmission meditation, about the energies, about everything.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. Lots of frequently asked questions, things like that. A great read, very simple to read and very informative. And I like what he said about groups. I mean, that's the potency of transmission meditation. It's done in groups of 3 or more people and using the triangles of light. So we should talk a bit about the Masters of Wisdom too, right? There's been a lot of reference to them.
Tim, just before we do that, I'd like to mention where people can get these books for free download. Share-ecart.com. Now, we forgot to put that up, that slide up. It's later in the show. But if you're listening right now, you can just get these at share-ecart.com. And maybe John can put that in the links in the chat as well. So that's where those books are available.
Yeah, free downloads. Yeah. Okay, the Masters of Wisdom. So this is a great cooperative effort, transmission meditation, with the Masters of Wisdom. So who are they? The Masters of Wisdom are highly evolved spiritual beings that have evolved out of the human family to a point where they have mastered themselves. So they're not masters over anybody, but they've mastered themselves over the long evolutionary journey of reincarnation. Every life goes by and they continue to master themselves to the point where they demonstrate perfect love, perfect wisdom, compassion. The Masters of Wisdom know the in-depth plan of evolution for the planet. They're perfected men and women. So they've been through all of our experiences, the human experience, all the ups and downs. They know it intimately and have evolved to the point where they're free from the reincarnational process of having to reincarnate over and over again.
So they're actually one of us. I mean, that's the really important thing to remember, is that they've gone ahead on the path of evolution. So they're further ahead than we are, but they are one of us. And we will become one of them. That is to say, all of us one day will reach that level of mastery over ourselves. Now, I think sometimes the word mastery, even when you use it to talk about, mastery, self-mastery, for many people, and I say that this also for myself, it has this kind of feeling of like somebody saying, come on, get in shape, cracking the whip, something like that. But that's really not what this is about. We use the word mastery here in terms of becoming at one with something. So there's no infringement of free will. It's not a violent or dominating type of process. It's much more, perhaps what would give an image maybe that's a little easier to grasp in terms of mastery that's not along those lines, is that it's about enlightenment in the sense literally of light coming into your system, the light of wisdom, the light of understanding. And as soon as that happens, as soon as you see something with more clarity, as soon as you see something with more depth, you understand it better, then your relationship to it changes. It's altered irrevocably. You can never go back to a previous way that you had to relating to something once you have this added comprehension and understanding. And so that's really what the process of evolution is for all of us, is that we're constantly gaining understanding and wisdom as a result of the understanding. And as that happens, our relationship to ourselves, to other people, to issues in our lives, to everything is altered and changes. And that's a process that's taking place all the time. We're constantly in that process. And so a master of wisdom is someone whose understanding of life, of themselves, has gotten to a point where there's no conflict anymore within them. There's no push and pull, or they have a clarity and a comprehensive vision of things and understanding of it that gives them that freedom, as Tim was saying, from the need to be born again in a physical body to take on another life the way we do over and over. But I mean, all of us are at some point along that path. So all of us already have some measure of understanding, of wisdom. So I don't think that the idea is that we should say, oh, we're so far back on the path and they're so far ahead. Not at all. They are really like our elder brothers and sisters. They love us, and they, excuse me, they want to encourage us, and they do try all the time to help and encourage as much as is possible within the laws of karma, as much as we're able to allow or understand or take in.
Yeah, and they're evolving too. Everything's evolving in the cosmos. So the masters continue to evolve. We evolve. The animal kingdom evolves. The vegetable kingdom, the mineral kingdom, it's all in the process of evolution and increasing in awareness. And like Sabina said, if you think of them as an elder brother, like a wise and loving elder that has this knowledge, that's a great way to describe that relationship. And they're in the world now, and this is something we'll talk about a little bit as well, that the masters of wisdom are now in the physical plane in the world at this great time, because humanity is evolving and we're in a great transitional phase now. I'm sure many of you have sensed that something's happening, right? There's a lot of challenging times right now and a lot of growth as well. So we'll talk about that as well. And the masters are also the custodians of the plan of evolution. And in regards to transmission meditation, these are also master scientists. So Sabina says that their understanding of energy, of light, is very, very advanced. So they can perform as master scientists when they're custodians of all these solar and cosmic energies that enter the planet, and they receive them and then pass them through. And they can step them down. Transmission meditation is a way to step those energies down and make them usable so that they don't just bounce off everyone and we can't absorb them because they're so potent. So they're being custodians of that. These master scientists can guide these energies through our energy system in a very safe and effective way. So this is a great way to cooperate with them. And this is where the service of the world aspect comes in, because by transmitting those energies, bringing them down, stepping them down to something that's usable, so that it's available to everyone, so that everyone can grow and be fortified and learn. That is the service part of transmission meditation.
That's right, because we've all experienced it, that something that maybe is upsetting to us, when an added piece of information comes in or a new perspective, suddenly it's no longer upsetting. And so if you think about places in the world where there's conflict of some type, maybe what's missing is simply an added understanding on the part of the people involved in the conflict. Now, that's not to say that we should send energies anywhere, because we don't know enough and we don't see enough to understand where or which type of energy should go where. So in terms of that part of the work, that's the masters who take care of that. We simply serve as a kind of clearinghouse. Our chakras serve as a clearinghouse for these energies to pass through. And in the process of passing through our chakras, the energies are, excuse me, naturally stepped down, converted into a lower frequency, which people can absorb. And then the masters send those energies where they're needed. Or they might pull energy back, like not send it somewhere. So that's just important to mention, because sometimes people think, oh, I'm supposed to direct energies. No, we don't do that. We just sit and let them pass through us.
Yeah, it's very simple. That's all we have to do. So why is meditation important?
That's a very good question. And I think that really meditation is important once you yourself are interested in it. That is to say, it's not the kind of thing I would ever recommend, and the masters certainly don't recommend imposing anything on anybody. They respect our free will. It's absolutely essential to our process of growth that our free will not be impeded. So that's why in general, if anyone's worked as a teacher, they will know that if you force people to do something, it doesn't really work. It doesn't stick. So why is meditation important? It's important once you're interested in it, once you're drawn to it. And then, yes, it is important. How would you answer that, Tim?
I would think so. I think people are naturally drawn to meditation. I mean, they could be introduced to it. You could, attend something and like, oh, that registered for me. And then you want to try it again, and your soul kind of pulls you into it. And then if there's a strong pull, you might get into a very serious meditation. I mean, most people find that a little bit of meditation is good for stress. It's good to get a different perspective on problems. It's healing, it's nurturing. There's so many advantages to it. But beyond that, they might sort of feel, look, I want to do something more. I want to meditate more. I want to get further into it. And if that's the case, like you say, if you're drawn to that, then it's great to have a regular rhythm of meditation. And this would be something to try, the transmission meditation, for example, because of its potency, and you get to work in a group, other people that are also drawn into a serious meditation practice.
And, one thing that Benjamin Creme has said when he talks about meditation, he says that for many thousands of lifetimes, the person is not interested or not drawn to that type of thing. And then comes a moment when suddenly it is of interest and you are drawn to it. And so it's a natural process. It's part of your own natural evolution when that moment comes that you become interested in a particular lifetime. You are interested. And then once that starts, it'll continue, lifetime after lifetime. You'll be drawn to it, and it'll come more easily every time. And, within a lifetime, as you keep doing it, of course, just like everything, the more you do something, the more easily you can do it, the more natural it seems.
Yeah, and it increases your connection with your soul as you practice it, right? It's a way of getting closer in that sense by regular.
So how would you describe meditation? What actually is it? Like what is it people do when they meditate?
Well, I guess, what it is an alignment, right? With the soul. Mm-hmm. It's a conscious alignment. You choose to move your attention somewhere to align with your soul, to kind of relax the body, to step out of it. In my mind, that would be a sort of a basic description of meditation, with the purpose of increasing awareness, of connecting with something outside of what you would normally see in the mirror.
Right. Well, and what's interesting is if you read, for example, in the Alice Bailey books and in other esoteric literature, there are very good descriptions of how we are connected to our souls. That is how this personality, this physical self that we see, is connected to the soul. Because as long as that connection is there, you are alive. And what we call death is simply that connection being broken. And so the soul is already connected. You're already connected, of course, to your soul. There's one place where it connects in your heart and another in your brain near the pineal gland. So you're already connected. So it's not that you're not connected, but what meditation is that you deliberately, consciously, with full awareness, begin to build another connection with your soul. Yeah. And so that connection that you begin to build in meditation is a specific one, and it's not related to the natural connections that are already there, that are simply you being alive.
Yeah, it's the thread of creativity that you build up from the throat chakra as another connector. Yeah, by taking the time to do it.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the word chakra, Tim.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us something about what are chakras?
Sure. I guess we should describe a little bit about the energy body. This is something that everybody has. And you see in the diagram here, there's a person with an aura and what are called chakras. These are energy vortices that are distribute force and energy through the physical. So you don't see them in the physical. These are a higher frequency. So if you had the right kind of clairvoyance or etheric vision, you could see these chakras in everybody's system, and they distribute force. They're tied to the endocrine system, the glandular system. So the energy that comes through feeds our physical endocrine system and distributes in the physical body. So it sustains and distributes energy to keep us vital. Some people refer to some of these energies. They're major chakras. There are 7 major chakras, and there are lots of 42, I think, or many minor chakras as well that distribute this energy. So you see it in some of holistic healing and acupuncture, and so where you're hitting key energy points. So here's a description. You have the crown chakra, and it's correlating glandular system, the pineal gland, the ajna center, the pituitary, the throat connects to the thyroid, the heart chakra to the thymus, solar plexus to the pancreas, sacral to the gonads, and the root chakra to the adrenal. With transmission meditation, typically the top 4, the crown, ajna, throat, and heart, are being used. Those are the higher vibration ones that are used to transmit the types of energies that come through. And our main focus, I think, from the video too, is where you focus on the ajna center. This is sort of the great distributing chakra of those forces. So it can feed all the others and transmit out. So by keeping your attention up here at the ajna center, that's sort of the seat of the soul, if you will, where the soul energy can come through.
Right. And just in relation to the picture, you see the colored dots going down the spine of the person. So the ajna chakra is represented by the pink colored dot in the forehead of the person there. Mm-hmm. And above that is a white dot, which is a bit difficult to see, but that's the crown chakra. And then the blue one is the throat. The heart is the green one. The yellow one is the solar plexus, the orange, the sacral, and the red one is the root chakra. And I just want to welcome some of our viewers. We have Adriana Trotner from Sweden. Hi, welcome, and thanks for being here.
Hi,
and
welcome.
Alberto Martinez, Yvonne Lewis from Chicago, David Minot from Boston, and Steen Kirsten. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks very much. Great to have you here.
It is, indeed. And so when you talk about the chakras, now that's something I don't know that I'm not aware of my chakras. The only time I'm aware of a chakra is when I'm meditating, and then I actually can feel something like a kind of I don't know what exactly, right there where the ajna chakra is. But that's the only time I feel anything. And Benjamin Krem has said not everybody will feel energies or will feel anything in particular when they meditate. And it doesn't mean you're not meditating. So that's important to know, because sometimes people think, well, if I'm not feeling anything, is it actually happening? And it is happening.
It is. Yeah, that's very important to note. But you may feel, if you do, you might, like Sabina said, you might have a tingling here or a numbness or something like that. And that's a little bit of the ajna center. You sometimes can just experiment feeling the chakras by putting your hand in an area where there's a chakra and kind of moving it away and see if you can feel anything, heat wise or sensation wise. Of course, there are little chakras in the hands as well. So they always pick up a lot of energy, and they can be very sensitive that way too. But again, if you don't feel anything, that's fine. It's not like it's not working or you don't have chakras.
Right. And one of the instructions when you first start, if you've never meditated before, is simply to put your finger here between your eyebrows, to actually place your finger here and touch your forehead to feel that. And then you take your finger away and you say, and you tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to continue to feel that spot from the inside of myself. And that's kind of a very simple way to begin.
Yeah. And there are chakras. I mean, the planet has chakras around it, and it itself is a chakra as well in the larger scale. So again, everything in the cosmos has sort of these vortices of energy as well. So it's good to note that too.
Yeah, that's a great image, just to imagine that it's like an infinite progression. I don't know if you ever saw, there was a kind of box of chocolates you could buy when I was a kid. I don't remember the name of it, but it had a rainbow and a little pot of gold at one end of it. And then there was a little box, a little picture of a box of chocolates there. And on that box, there was another rainbow with another pot of gold. And it just kind of went on like forever.
Yeah. And that's about it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it just, there's this one within the other. But I love the image of the earth being a being. I mean, now that's recognized more and more. We talk about Gaia, and so it makes sense that the earth would have chakras as well. And as you say, if the earth itself is a chakra in a greater body, like the solar system, for example, I mean, that's really neat.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And well, even like you say, rainbow, the chakra colors, or the rainbow colors. So yeah. So here we have an image as well of somebody doing meditation, right? Just to give you a different image of energy flowing through the system. And you can see this column of light and see where it bulges out kind of in a circle. Those are chakra points in the person. And then the star-shaped sort of light above would be the soul light.
Right. And so that energy goes straight through your body, right? And when you do meditation, it enters and goes out. So it's actually a flow of energy through you. Yeah. And some people report feeling, feeling a sense of cleansing from doing meditation, almost as though you're taking some type of energy shower or bath or something, because there really literally is a flow of energy going through you.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, very much, very purifying.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have description of what is transmission meditation. So that image was just of a person meditating, maybe it's a personal meditation, what can happen. Transmission meditation, as we said before, is a group of 3 or more. And so there's much more potency because you have more people, more chakra systems at work. And there's a triangulation or an exponential factor too, when you have 3 or more, where the energy heightens that much more. So as we were saying earlier, a year of regular transmission meditation in a group could be equal to 10 or 15 or 20 years of regular meditation as far as your own growth and awareness. And also to service the world is potentized. It combines, as we said, karma yoga, the yoga of service, and laya yoga, the yoga of the chakras or spiritual growth. And the group members' chakras step down those energies. So like we were saying before, those great cosmic and solar energies, healing energies get stepped down, and the service is that it can be available for people to absorb. The masters send the energies where they're needed. Again, you don't have to send them. The masters know that. They know the plan. And it's very safe, scientific. They're master scientists. There's no danger there. And it is the meditation of the future. We practice for the next 2000. Everything in the cosmos is doing a transmission of sorts, stepping down energy, feeding, nourishing from one down to the other, and so on. So this will be a great transmission meditation for the next 2000 years and beyond. Groups around the world practicing it will just continue to increase, I think. So forming this great grid of light and energy.
Well, and there are already groups all over the world, even as we speak. There are people meditating. If you think about the time zones going across the whole globe, there are groups everywhere right now already. So, and they keep growing. There are more and more groups all the time. And I'd like to welcome one more person who has just joined us, Laura Fernandez. Hola, hello.
Hola, hello. Yeah, welcome. And so, all these groups are meditating. It's going on all the time, and building up a pool of energy that can be used as well. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. We have also a little graph here of how it works with the triangulation. So you can see these little images here, a group of 3, they form a triangle of light. So it works through the science of triangles. Then you have, when you add another person, you get that many more triangles. 5 meditators, you can increase to 10 triangles, and so on. So the more people you have, the amount of triangles are multiplied through this formulation here, n minus 1, n minus 2 over 6.
That's right. And like with 4 meditators, you'd have 4 triangles. It's really kind of fantastic. One way people think about this is they say, well, if you're sitting in a group, let's say there's 5 of you meditating together, and then and transmission is always it's based on the same idea of respecting free will. And so let's say you're in a group, but then you need to leave. Well, you just leave. But Benjamin Creme always says, when you leave, think about how many triangles leave with you. So, for example, if you're 5 people and one person leaves, then the number of triangles goes from 10 to 4. So it's kind of amazing to think one person sitting there is adding 6 more triangles.
Yeah. You
And
may
if you go
decide to
from
stay.
5, yeah, and if you go from 5 people to 6 people, one person has added 10 triangles.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
But it's interesting because I think this really ties in with our growing awareness of the power of groups. This is the age of Aquarius. It's the age of group consciousness, of synthesis. And we're seeing this awareness expanding everywhere. People are aware that if you want to achieve anything, you have to do it as a group. You need group action, and how powerful groups are. So I think it's just wonderful. Transmission meditation is the meditation for the age of Aquarius, and it makes absolute sense that it's a group meditation.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, groups are the way. And here you have a group example. So this is something that happens in the same kind of image where you have these individual columns of light, but they're connected by soul light and forming a triangle.
I really like that illustration. It's such a practical way to be able to visualize what's happening.
Yeah, oh, it's great. And then here you add the 5 people, and they're all the triangles and connections. So you can see the grid forming.
Right.
And we have another video of Benjamin Krem talking about a little bit about the master's perspective. So of course, the master also has the Ajna center that he looks through, and what it's like sending the energies through the group. So I'll just get that queued up here.
So are you saying that even when we don't live in a physical body, we still have chakras?
Yes. So yeah, we still work through the chakra system. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
So here, we'll just play this video and see what he says about it.
The masters see them as they look through this chakra here. They see
their own chakra,
their own Ajna center. They see into the world.
And can you turn the volume up?
Then
how do they see that group?
They see them as a kind of extension of their vision. They see them as light, they see the chakras, they see the radiance of the chakras, and they can evaluate precisely the point in evolution of each individual by that radiance or lack of radiance. And through each person's chakra then, a potency of the various energies which they wish to distribute is put, exactly conforming to the point of evolution of each individual.
Now,
highly scientific.
Now the masters know to attune to them because the great invocation is like a buzzer that goes off.
Yes, it's like ringing a bell, yeah. There's a group down there.
And they start to transmit, the masters tune in,
yes, exactly.
And they make these adjustments, you say, based on where each of the people
are. So no one receives a higher potency of any particular energy than their chakras can stand. But at the same time, it's an ongoing process, so the vibration is lifted and lifted all the time, and so it is impossible, you see, to do this work, to have these great spiritual energies poured through the chakras in this highly scientific way, because these are master scientists, without the chakras being transformed. And they measure your evolutionary journey by the state of play of your chakras, how brilliant, how fast they're moving, how intense the light, and so on. And so you're entering a hothouse. It's a forcing process. And doing transmission meditation, you're performing a service, but at the same time, you're serving yourself more easily, more potently than you could possibly do. So much so that in 1 year of properly conducted, intensely carried out transmission meditation, you make the same kind of spiritual advance as in, 10, 15 years of ordinary meditation.
Yeah, that's amazing, that idea that you can advance that fast or that much from doing this meditation. It's quite astounding, actually.
It is. And to hear that perspective,
when the masters, you say they send
energy. I think the video is playing again, Tim.
Yeah. Okay, so we have, now you can see this grid, just loading here, the network of light. So just to get a visual of how all those groups meditating feeds that grid of light, builds that pool of energy.
And so in a way, you can really visualize how this is generating a positive energy for the whole world. just from where you're sitting in your chair.
There it is, surrounding the earth. Yeah.
Now, one thing that we haven't talked about yet, though, we heard Benjamin Creme mention it, and that's the great invocation. That's a very important part of transmission meditation. It's an invocation, a mantra that we say at the beginning to start the meditation, and we will do that today, just in just a few minutes, and we'll show you the great invocation. It's quite long, so we won't say the whole thing right now, but I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it gets the attention of the Master of Wisdom, saying you're ready to meditate. So, and then that description of the Master looking through the chakra system and tweaking and sending the energies through. Amazing. So we should talk a little bit about Maitreya and the Age of Aquarius too. Sabina, you started mentioning it a little while ago here about working in groups and that we're in the Age of Aquarius. So, I mean, this is a great transitional time. When we talk about the Age of Aquarius, it's in alignment with the constellation Aquarius. So and this is an astronomical fact. This is a precession of the equinoxes. Our solar system moves, and we all come into alignment with different constellations of the zodiac every few thousand years or so. So for the last few thousand years, we've been in alignment with Pisces. The Piscean energy that is transmitted from Pisces has bathed the solar system and the planet. And we've created all of our structures, our political, economic, social structures, our way of relating, all of that's based on those energies from Pisces. And now we're in the Age of Aquarius. So we've slowly shifted into alignment with the Aquarian energies, which are quite different. And so this is one of the reasons why we see all the challenges we're facing now, as far as the old political systems aren't working for us the way they might have before. The economic systems, the social structures, they're all now entering under influence of Aquarius, and all of us are. And so these new energies have different qualities. As Sabina said, group energy is Aquarian. Cooperation is Aquarian versus competition, which was Piscean. So we see that contrast between the two. And we've only just slipped more into Aquarius than Pisces. So that's why we kind of feel like there's a foot in each. For a lot of us, it's kind of challenging because we're like, oh, well, this used to work. It doesn't anymore. I want to stick with this, or I don't. I want to leap into the future. So some are holding back, trying to preserve old ways. Others are moving it forward, marching in groups and demanding change. And so you see that contrast during this time. And it's a very key, potent time. These energies are flooding in, and transmission meditation is a way to help transmit some of these new energies in as well, to bring very positive change, because the future is very bright. The masters, Maitreya, the world teacher, they all see a very positive future ahead and for humanity.
And that sounds surprising when you look at the news, but they see what we don't see. So they can actually see ahead into time, and they know the choices that we're going to make. None of this is imposed, of course. It's all our free will, and we do surprise them. It's not that we don't. But in a general sense, in the broad outlines of the thing, they know that we're going to choose sanity as opposed to insanity, that we're not going to blow ourselves up. We are going to, that we're going to make the choices for taking care of each other, taking care of the planet, and not continuing to simply exploit everybody and exploit each other and nature. So what Maitreya says is that he knows our choice. And there are actually messages from Maitreya that he transmitted to Benjamin Creme, through Benjamin Creme. You can buy the book or look at some of them online, messages from Maitreya. There are 140 of them. So who is Maitreya? Well, he's one of the Masters of Wisdom. He's their elder brother, and he is also, in a sense, the head of that group. He holds the office of the Christ. He embodies love. And he is constantly streaming love to all of us. So he's aware of all of us, and he holds all of us in his heart. And that's a tremendous thing just to envision even. But he's now here in a physical body that you could shake his hand if you were to meet him. And he's also the person expected by all the world's religions. Each religion gives a different name for the person they're expecting. Our information through Benjamin Creme is that all of these expectations refer to the same great teacher. Now, he's a teacher. He's not here to found a religion. He says, if you're happy in your tradition, continue and grow in your tradition. He's here to teach the art of self-realization, which is something that's open for everybody, whether you're in a religion or not, whether you think that you're interested in spirituality or not. So he's here for everybody. And he will speak to us publicly, openly, soon. We don't know when exactly, but this is what we've been told, and we expect that to happen.
This, to me, is amazing news, that the masters and Maitreya are in the world, in the physical plane, and this key time. This is the time to try something new. It's critical, but it's time to move and to explore and to create and to demand change and rebuild a new civilization. It's fantastic. The energies are here, the Aquarian energies, the energies of the masters who know sort of where we're heading. It's really incredible. We're developing a closer relationship with them. Yeah, amazing.
Well, and they talk a lot. Maitreya talks a lot in his messages about the need to change the world, the need to feed people. That the fact of people dying of hunger, of being malnourished, that to him is a crime. And more we are recognizing it is a crime. It's a crime against humanity. And so this is his absolute first priority, is to save people from death through starvation. And so his priorities resemble very much what we know as the UN Declaration of Rights, Human Rights. Article 25 talks about specific, very concrete rights that everybody has: food, water, shelter, healthcare, education. So really, when you look at Maitreya's priorities, they are the same. And he's very practical. It's about making sure everybody has the basics and can live a stable life, and a life in which people can think about other questions than just, where am I going to get food to feed my family today?
To move out of survival mode, right? To put an end to war and greed and exploitation, so we can embrace the future.
That's right. And we have a question: how far back does this information go? In terms of back in time, I think that's what the questioner means. The information about the masters and Maitreya, this information is not new by any means. We take our information primarily from Benjamin Creme, but Alice Bailey was mentioned in the last video we saw. Benjamin Creme mentioned her. She wrote and published about 24 books, I think, in the last century, in the 20th century. And so this information is also in those books. And there are other people who've written about Maitreya and the Masters of Wisdom: Helena Blavatsky, Helena Roerich, and all of these people we consider disciples of the Masters of Wisdom and exponents of the Ageless Wisdom teachings. And we call these teachings ageless because you'll also find the same ideas, for example, in the Hindu tradition, in their writings. You'll find them in all the traditions, in the Christian, in the Muslim, in the Buddhist, in every tradition that has become part of humanity's heritage. You'll see the same essential ideas and teachings. And so we consider them, they're ours. They're for all of humankind. And this is a most recent version of these teachings, with more detail perhaps, and more technical maybe.
Thanks. That's a great question.
Yeah.
And then sharing the world's resources. If you want to know about priorities, how we can, we need to, speak up demand change, demand sharing the world's resources, build up our world public opinion. When this happens and there's a better distribution through the nations of resources, then we'll really get a sense of justice and peace. As Maitreya says, without sharing, there can be no justice. Without justice, there can be no peace. And without peace, there can be no future. And so this is key to us moving forward in this time to our bright future. So we need to demand and to take the action necessary for the nations to share the world's resources. And we can see lots of movements already in that direction, whether it be vaccines or sort of addressing critical points around the world. The nations are starting to work a little bit more together. People are demanding that they do that. Obviously, there's still lots to do, especially in the climate, and a lot on sharing the resources. But the idea is to take an inventory, have a sort of a central body that sort of calculates the inventory of all the nations, and each nation uses what it needs, and then its excess gets sort of pooled together into a reservoir of resources, if you will, and those resources can be redistributed to the nations that need them. And so there's a great interchange of resources, creating a much more just planet, just distribution.
Well, and this is the vision for the future. It's not happening yet. But I also think that the awareness of the need to share, perhaps we've always known that's really what we should be doing. But now there's, as you talked about, world public opinion, there's a growing voice of world public opinion being expressed on the streets, in the media, demanding sharing, and the lack of sharing is being spotlighted. I mean, that's really what I think is very critical and crucial, is that we see that this lack of sharing is happening. I mean, it's always been happening, but shining a spotlight on it and making it a matter of shame to say, how can this be that in a world of plenty, where there's more than enough for everybody, we're not sharing? And I think the pandemic has allowed us to bring that more into focus, because with the coronavirus, it's a question, well, with food, of course, it's also a question of life and death, but perhaps it doesn't register as much because it's a more gradual kind of thing. But with the pandemic, people are acutely aware of the life and death aspect of it. And so not sharing the vaccine is seen much more clearly as a great problem, a great lack of humanity.
Yeah, I mean, it gets more and more uncomfortable to see extreme greed and selfishness and unsharing. More and more difficult to put up with that.
Right, or to justify it.
To justify it. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
those who are in power. Yeah. I think we're ready to go ahead, right? Yeah, here are our resources, our websites, where you can find all of this information and much, much more. So there's share-international.org. There's also Share International's YouTube channel. That's where these videos that we saw today are. You can watch them there. And as we mentioned previously, share-ecart.com. You can download free books, and you can also buy books there.
So, and again, these were the books, some of them that are available for free download. So if you are interested in the transmission meditation one, you can see it there on that share-ecart.com. And also there is a magazine, Share International Magazine. If you're interested, it's available also on that same site, Share Ecart, for subscription. There's no advertising. It's got some great stories about innovations, new movements in humanity. There's always a message from the Master of Wisdom. So it's available if you are interested as well.
And you can read some of it on shareinternational.org as well.
Yes.
They post parts of the magazines every month. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And again, what do you need to believe in to do transmission meditation? Nothing. It just works. So again, even if you don't believe in the Masters of Wisdom, as we were talking about here, it doesn't matter. It still works. You can just do the transmission meditation. You can feel the energies or not, have them transmit, and you're still doing something to help the world.
You don't have to believe in energy either.
You don't have to believe in energy too. Yeah, it just try it out if you like.
And it's important to note that this does not interfere with any other tradition you might have. So it'll actually enhance whatever else you're doing, like other types of meditation or prayer or anything. So that's really good to know as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do like it, if you experience and like it and would like to do some more, groups are meeting on Zoom because before the pandemic, we all met in person. But during the pandemic times, we set up, there are some Zoom links, and John will put them in the chat for you if you're interested. And
yeah, they're already there.
Yeah. And again, if you have pacemakers, serious heart problems, emotional, psychological issues, or under the age of 12, not recommended. But otherwise, it's open to everybody.
Right. And the idea about the Zoom meditations is simply that instead of going and meeting together, in a library meeting room or at somebody's house to do meditation, as we saw in the video, we saw people sitting together. Those are all pre-pandemic photos. But now people are meeting using Zoom. And you could do it using other platforms as well. And you don't even have to use a platform. I mean, you could, if you already know who you're meditating with, you can mentally visualize those people and link up together and just agree, we're going to do it on Mondays at 8 or whatever. But these Zoom connections are really great as well. And so if you're interested in joining a group, if you haven't got a group, you can just do that. You can use the links in the chat and join one of these groups. But remember, you can also form your own group. You only need to be 3 people. So if you have 2 friends who are interested, 2 roommates, 2 family members, it's very easy to do.
Absolutely. So we talked about the Great Invocation before. This is an invocation that you would say to get the attention of the Master of Wisdom, saying you're ready to start meditating. So this is part of transmission meditation. What you would do is you sit comfortably in a chair. You would have your spine straight. Keep your attention here at the Ajna center between the eyebrows. You'll find that your attention might drop. If you think the word Om, just quietly in your head, Om, your attention will move back up to the Ajna center. So it's a process of this maybe going here, and then you fade out for a bit, and maybe your head goes down. You think the word Om, bring your attention back up during the meditation. And with practice, you spend longer up here over time. And so, so you would sit comfortably, you think the word Om, have your attention here, say the Great Invocation, and then begin the meditation.
And so what's interesting about the Great Invocation, it's beautiful because it's calling for the light from the mind of God to come into our minds, the love from the heart of God to come into our hearts, and the will of God to guide our wills. So it's really about bringing down these great divine qualities into our own sphere, and that we be able to be moved by these great energies. So it's very beautiful. I think it's like a beautiful poem, actually.
It is. And there's a great visualization. If you do download the book, you can always look it up. And there's one, we won't do it now, but it goes with the invocation.
Right. There are visualizations for each stanza. Well, the first 3 stanzas. Right. But today we're just going to do a straightforward meditation. Tim, are you going to say the Great Invocation?
I sure can.
All right. And we'll meditate for half an hour, right?
Yeah.
And please join us. I think you'll enjoy it. And hopefully we'll talk to you at the end after we finish the 30 minutes. I will mute out, and everybody, wherever you are, you can say the Great Invocation along with Tim. That's what I'll do. And that's how you do it when you meet as a group, whether you do it over Zoom or you actually meet each other physically in the same room. Everyone says the Great Invocation together out loud. And it's been translated into many, many languages. We were saying earlier, there are groups all over the world. So people are saying the Great Invocation in many languages.
All right. So just a quick review to have your attention up here between the eyebrows. If your attention drops, think the word Om, bring it back. Just sit comfortably with your spine straight. and we'll begin. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.
And that was Transmission Meditation. Thank you for joining us. And thanks to Cielito Pascual in Seattle and to John O'Neill in Montgomery, Alabama, for helping us with the technical aspect of things. And we'd like to welcome you back in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing part 2 of Modern Day Miracles, a show that we did a while back with Dick Larson, and he'll be back again in 2 weeks for that on July 24th.
That'll be really exciting. Lots of great miracles out there. Yeah, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Happy weekend.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.